Hello everyone, this is Professor Patterns. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the data science job descriptions, and we'll also understand some salaries as well as job levels. Now, this is a follow-up to an earlier video, so if you haven't watched that video, I'll share a link here, and the video card is going to pop up in a second. Or you can also take a look at the link in the description. But basically, that video is going to go over all of the different tools that are required for data science positions. And in this video, let's take a look at some of the different job titles. Now, the website that I'm using is called aijobs.net. I don't really like using LinkedIn for any sort of job search, mostly because there's so many different ghost job postings on there. A lot of the times you have, I guess, different buckets where you might have one bucket of companies that aren't really looking to do any hiring, but they're just looking for collecting resumes for future hiring or something. You might also have some companies from other countries that are just collecting resumes and using those resumes to then, um, you know, craft a good profile for their own candidates. So for consultancies and those kind of things. And there's a ton of different reasons I'm not going to get into, but basically, I like to use other job board sites like aijobs.net. I think that's a pretty decent one for data science stuff. You'll see quite a bunch of different job postings here. I've filtered to data science, and I've said that I'm looking for the ones in North America right now. So it's going to include the US and Canada for some of these. Now, if you take a look at some of the job descriptions, we'll pull up some for data scientist. So this is one for Broadcom. And let's take a look to see what are the main sort of requirements for this job that this one needs. So in terms of programming and scripting skills, Python, R, like we said before, always we want to know at least either Python or R. You don't need to know both of them. We also knew that SQL is going to be important. These are going to be optional. Like I've never seen Cypher or GQL before. Um, Different companies will have just different domain specific requirements, so that's okay. It's never going to be a hard requirement by any means. In terms of software engineering skills, proficiency with Python, you don't need to know Java, Scala, or Go. Version control using Git, like I said before, this is another important skill to have. Now let's take, actually this one also gives us some salary ranges. So the annual base salary is 119 to 190. The experience is bachelor's plus 8 years of experience. That one seems like a lot. What is this? Is this a data science 1 position? Looks like it. Yeah, this salary seems kind of low for 8 years of requirements for a data science 1 position. It seems a little bit inconsistent there. Let's take a look at this one. This one's at Bose Allen. Data science, it's a mid role, so I would usually expect maybe 5 years of experience in the main requirements. But here it says you have 1 year of experience with Python, R, and SQL. That's perfect. Experience with cleaning data, data analytics, data visualization, that all of that makes sense. Because this one's kind of government contracting, it does require you to have some sort of security clearance. It's not hard to get, but you do need to be a US citizen for this. Apply supervised, unsupervised learning, machine learning. So like I said before, machine learning and deep learning is going to be important to know if you're going to go into data science. Does this one list the salary? No, it doesn't. So, actually, no, it does here. So between 75 to 172, I'd say if you want to get exact numbers, we can take a look at different sites. Like Levels, for example, is a pretty good resource that gives us an idea on salary ranges. So we'll take a look at that here in a second, but let's take a look at maybe a couple more job descriptions. So this one's data scientist 3 role. So usually you have DS1, DS2, DS3. Again, this one does require security clearance, level of experience it shows as mid. And what are the main requirements? So does require a master's and bachelor's degree. Working with data pipelines, Python is the primary language that it needs, and then some security clearance. So not really too sure about that one. This one, which is at Memorial Sloan Cancer Center, key qualifications, a bachelor's degree in some sort of a STEM field, whether it's computer science, statistics, or anything related to like engineering or anything STEM. I think that should be okay. Experience in deep learning, obviously it makes sense because you're going to be working with quite a lot of medical image sort of data. So computer vision as well, and or medical imaging. Doesn't really have a hard requirements when it comes to Python or SQL or anything like that, which makes sense because this sort of data is more image data. It's not really going to be like text data or tabular data or anything like that. One more, this one's at Neuro. It does require either a master's or a PhD in stats, math, computer science, data science. Some years of industry experience and then hands-on experience with linear logistic regression, support vector machines, confidence intervals. That's pretty easy. Significance testings. That's fine. Expertise in causal inference, and then writing SQL, and then writing Python or R. Like I said, it's always going to be R or Python. My tip is always to go into Python. You'll have a lot more jobs just going into Python. Base salary seems to be between 150 to 228. Again, these are just base salaries. So usually you would have base salary plus some bonus, plus sign-on bonus, uh, plus some compensation like equity or something like that. So base is just one number. Maybe let's take a look at one or two more, and then I'll give you some other resources. So senior data scientist, this is one at Walmart. Let me scroll down to minimum qualifications. So bachelor's degree in some STEM field, 3+ years in analytics, or a master's degree in some sort of a STEM field and 1+ years. So usually economics usually counts for this as well. This is information technology, that counts as well. But if it's something like English literature, then I don't think it would count. And then preferred qualifications, so experience with Python, that makes sense, or R. Again, it's always going to be Python or R. And that's pretty much it. Doesn't really talk about anything much. Salary range is 117 to 234 for this one. And then last one. So this is at Octane. Let's scroll down. It says high fluency with SQL. That makes sense. Python, PySpark. That's fine. And some sort of machine learning packages. Like I said, some jobs might require to have experience with AWS or cloud computing environments. So sometimes you'll see it come up, but not every single time. Experience with Git for code management. Like I said, this is a very important tool and skill set to have. I'll create a whole separate video on how you can use Git for effective version control for your data science projects. And then the base salary for this one is about 140 to 175. So every time you're talking about base salary, well, like I said, it's just one part of the whole compensation package. The site that I want you to refer to is called levels.fyi. Now, this is self-reported salaries, so you have to be careful. Sometimes it's like inflated numbers, sometimes it's real numbers. So you can always verify with Glassdoor, but a lot of the times, like if you go click on salaries and then sort by date, you'll see here that these are all self-reported salaries, right? So someone at Apple 6 hours ago, they got an offer, 3 years of experience, 274, where 160 was base, 97 was stock, and then 17 was bonus. But a lot of these salaries are very consistent with what the offers usually are like. So as a data scientist, your median comp is going to be around 168. Now, this also doesn't account for levels, right? It's not like an entry level data scientist is going to come out earning 168. Usually I would say entry level, depending on where you are. So if you're going to be applying to like more FAANG companies like Meta, Amazon, Apple, all of those type of companies, then your starting compensation is going to be a lot on the higher side of things, where you might look at total compensation, somewhere around 160-ish, depending on which company it is. And if you're coming out with a PhD or a master's degree or whatever, you can filter by entry levels here and then sort by compensation. So you'll see like some of these big finance companies are going to pay a lot more. Google, for example, this one seems really high, but it could be mostly because this person just has a PhD and they're going more into like research data science roles. You'll see a lot of these trading companies actually pay quite a bit in terms of the total compensation. Netflix obviously is known to pay a lot higher, and then Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft. So this gives you a little bit of an idea about what the expected salary ranges are going to be like. Now, it is just salary ranges at like these big high tech companies. If you're looking at more standard companies, like not really the best of the best, but just normal ranges, I would say that for DS1 roles, you might be looking at somewhere around 80 to 110 starting compensation. That seems more appropriate, I would think. Maybe for like a company in Oklahoma or Tennessee or something like that, or something. And then maybe for like a DS2 role, you might be looking at somewhere around 115 to 150 to 160 or somewhere around that range. And then maybe for like a senior data scientist, you'll be looking at somewhere around 150 to 170 or 180. And then after that, for a lead data scientist, in general, you're looking at between 170 to 210, 220. That seems like a very normal range of values. Versus at FAANG, you might be looking at somewhere around like $500,000, $600,000 a year. So it's always important to consider the FAANG level salaries versus just the normal range of salaries that you would usually get. Now, I would say you can also see different levels at different companies here. So I can see at Amazon at different levels. I can see Atos different levels, CVS Health. I can search for any company that I want to as well. So let's say I want to compare Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. So we have different leveling structures and different companies. So Amazon levels start at like L4, L5, L6, L7, L8. Usually L4 is like entry level positions. This is between 0 to 1 or 2 years of experience. And total comp is around 176 for this. So usually salary is going to be 141, stock about 20K per year. Obviously, you have different vesting schedules for this. So maybe you might have only like 5% of something of your stock vested in like the first year. And then most of the times it's going to be like most of your stocks are going to be available like later on, maybe like year 3, year 4, something like that. And then 14,000 of bonus. Now, it's important to note that when you join like a company like Amazon, for example, you do get that bonus, but then if you leave or you're terminated within that 1 year, then you do have to pay back that bonus. So put this in a savings account until you're there for a year, and then after that year, you can use that money. So that's the L4 level, between 0 to 1 or 2 years of experience. And then when we go to like 2 to 3 years of experience, we have L5. So this is the total compensation, where you have the base salary of 167. You do get a lot more in terms of stock once you go into like L5. I would say L5 is usually around 3 to 5 years of experience. That seems like a very normal range. And then L6 is going to be 323. Salary or base is going to be around, say, 198, say around 200, 120K in stocks, and then some bonus. Now, usually these stocks are also, you get like a hard number, and then if the Amazon stock goes up, that's good for you. If it goes down, then womp womp. And then, so yeah, we looked at L6, L7. These numbers, they do seem high, but it is quite rare to get to this L7, L8 position. So yeah, you do have someone like here earning 900K per year, but 300K is the base, 600K is stock, but they have close to 23 years of total experience and 6 years of experience working in Amazon. Like this one, for example, even an L7 is kind of rare as well. Now you can compare to see what those levels would look like at Microsoft. So over here for L4, it would be all under like 59, 60, and some parts of 61. They refer to this as DS1 and then DS2s, senior data scientist. The salary ranges for Microsoft is generally a little bit lower. I think that the highest ones are going to be at Meta or Facebook. So for Facebook, if you look at maybe somewhere around like senior data scientist roles, like IC6 or something, you're looking at 500. Versus at other companies, it's going to be a little bit lower. Like L5 is 271, Amazon is at 323 versus Meta, which is at 407. So you do get a lot higher in terms of compensation at like this company here. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea about different salary ranges. Now, if you wanted to, for example, search for mid-sized companies, you could do that as well. Like not all companies are going to have salaries posted. So Glassdoor is another place where you can also search for salaries, but note that they talk about just base and some additional pay, but it doesn't have like a extensive breakdown of salaries, just like you would in levels. So that's going to be a little bit different to see over there. But hopefully this video gives you an idea about what you would usually see in different data science job postings, what the salary ranges are going to be like at FAANG companies, mid-sized companies, and then even low-tier companies. So definitely take a look at this site, and you can browse through all of the different job postings and everything in here as well. So that's it for this video. If you're new to this channel, then please subscribe. If you haven't watched this video before, or if you want to see similar content, then please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll make some videos on whatever topic you want me to talk about. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.